All right, the red wave never materialized. Only thing red is Trump and McCarthy's face. Although counting was still underway in the 2022 midterm elections, voters delivered a series of firsts for members of the LGBTQ community nationwide. Among the winners elected to office are first-time members of Congress, transgender trailblazers, and lesbian governors. The wins in local and national races alike comes on the heels of midterm elections shaped in part by debates over LGBTQ rights. The Human Rights Campaign, the nation's largest LGBTQ plus civil rights organization, held the victory of at least 10 pro-equality, openly LGBTQ plus members of the House of Representatives Equality Caucus, a record. Those members are Becca Balint, David Cicilline, Angie Craig, Sharice Davids, Robert Garcia, Chris Pappas, Mark Pocan, Eric Sorensen, Mark Takano, and Ritchie Torres. When the new congressional term begins in January, these House members will join openly LGBTQ plus senators Tammy Baldwin and Kirsten Sinema in Congress. Votes are still being counted in California and Oregon. Here are some of the notable LGBTQ plus victories in the country.
U.S. Representative Sharice Davids, the first gay Native American in Congress and the only Democrat in Kansas's congressional delegation, has been reelected. In Kansas's 3rd congressional district, she had 55% of the vote, while Republican challenger Amanda Adkins had about 43%.
Maura Healey made history on Election Day, becoming the first woman to be elected governor of Massachusetts and the first openly lesbian governor in U.S. history. Healey won the gubernatorial race against Republican Jeff Deal. Governor Charlie Baker, a Republican, decided not to seek re-election. Healey was the first openly gay attorney general elected in the country in 2014.
LGBTQ plus candidates have made history across the country in this year's midterms. As states' legislators continue to pass anti-LGBTQ plus legislation, pro-equality state representatives have become some of the most pivotal defenders of LGBTQ plus rights. Even in states where legislatures are not repeatedly attacking LGBTQ plus rights, representation is crucial. State legislatures make countless decisions that affect the day-to-day lives of their people in their states. And who better to speak for LGBTQ people than LGBTQ plus people?
Absolutely. The U.S. midterm elections saw a fink of the Minnesota Democratic Farm Labor Party, basically the Democrats in Minnesota. He won 81% of the vote to Republican Trace Johnson's 18% for his district's 66A seat. She ran on a strong platform for several crucial issues, including racial justice, supporting a statewide equality rights amendment, and explicit protections for trans and gender nonconforming young people, among other issues.
Two-term Long Beach Mayor Robert Garcia has become the first out LGBTQ immigrant elected to Congress. He will represent California's 42nd district. He immigrated to the United States at age 5. He holds an MA from the University of Southern California.
James Rosner has become the first out trans man ever to be elected to a state legislature in the United States. Rosner, a 26-year-old Democrat, won New Hampshire's 22nd State House District Ward 8. According to his bio, he lives in Concord, New Hampshire with his wife and cat.
Colorado Democrat Jared Polis, the first out gay man elected governor of any U.S. state, is now the first one re-elected. His win was largely expected. Polis first elected governor in 2018 as a former congressman and entrepreneur. He is married to Marlon Reese. Their wedding in 2021 was the first same-sex wedding of a sitting U.S. governor.
Democrats now control both chambers of the Michigan State House, the governorship, the Attorney General seat, and the Secretary of State seat. And the right to abortion will be enshrined in the state constitution. It's a big sigh of relief for LGBTQ plus people. Dana Nessel, the out lesbian who won re-election as Michigan's Attorney General, wasted no time reaching out directly to those kids in a tweet Tuesday night.
Gen Z voters turned out in record numbers Tuesday, and in the Orlando area, Florida's congressional 10th district, they voted one of their own into the U.S. Congress. Maxwell Frost became the very first member of Gen Z to go to the House of Representatives.
Voters in Texas added to the diversity of their state legislature on Tuesday, tripling the number of openly gay Black lawmakers holding office and electing the first 2 Muslim lawmakers to serve in the Capitol. Until May, there were no openly gay Black members of the legislature. Representative Jolanda Jones became the first when she won a special election that month.
Tina Kotek has been declared the winner of the Oregon governor's race, meaning that 2 states have elected out lesbian governors. Kotek, a Democrat, had been in a close race with Republican Christine Drazan to succeed term-limited Governor Kate Brown, also a Dem, and the nation's first out bisexual governor.
Eric Sorensen has won his race to represent Illinois District 17 in the House of Representatives, making him the state's first out LGBTQ plus person elected to Congress. The former meteorologist beat out far-right Republican Esther Joy King and celebrated his victory in a statement saying he is honored to have been elected.
Democrat Eric Russell has won his election for Connecticut treasurer, making him the first Black gay statewide office holder in the U.S. A partner at the law firm Pullman & Comley, Russell ran on a platform that included responsible debt management to protect Connecticut's bond rating, increasing the funded ratio of the state's pension funds, and more.
Those are some sexy issues. Democrat Becca Balint is the winner of Vermont's single congressional district. She is the first woman and the first LGBTQ plus person elected to Congress from that state. With 72% of precincts reporting Tuesday night, Balint had 61.5% of the vote, while her opponent, Liam Madden, had a sad below 30%, 28.8%. Boo-hoo.
Openly, LGBTQ plus members play key roles in promoting, advancing, and eventually passing critical legislation, like the Equality Act and the Respect for Marriage Act during the 117th Congress. Their fight to expand civil rights at the federal level and prevent our progress from being rolled back comes at a time when state legislatures across the country have introduced more than 350 anti-LGBTQ plus bills. Politicians like Sharice Davids, Mara Healey, Leah Fink, Robert Garcia, Dana Nessel, and others are keeping the fire alive and ensuring America becomes and remains a progressive country that values equality and freedom over anything.
So much to take in from that little rapid fire round of things. A couple things I noted. First off, congratulations to the Oregon governor. You're the second elected lesbian governor because you're 3 time zones away from the first elected lesbian governor. So good on you for that. One thing that when we talk about women's rights and women's reproductive health rights, and that does affect all parts of the L, the G, the B, the T, the Q community. While we made some progress, it was affirmatively banned in one state. Kentucky and Kansas have said, no, we're not going to ban it in the Constitution, but the legislature can. But the thing is that now abortion is on the ballot every single election. If Michigan decides to swing red at some point in the future, abortion's gone. And then it's going to come back. The reason that the Supreme Court decisions are so important because it sets unity. If the Republicans had their way, there'd be no abortion, there'd be no marriage equality. But, if you lived in New York and you went to visit your parents, you and your husband went to visit your parents in Texas, then you're unmarried for a couple weeks. And while that may appeal to a lot of couples, just taking a little break, we were on a break. It's not a good plan, and it's no way to run a country.
Absolutely dangerous. I mean, it just feels like there's a lot of pressure on these newly elected people as well. I mean, we're pinning a lot of hopes on these people, and I'm sure they're up to the task, and I hope they're up to the task.
I think representation right now is just important, especially as we see this what I keep saying is these older generations need to be afraid of the Gen Zers. They need to be afraid of these 26 years old. 26 years old. That is just beautiful. And they see what's going on. They're not blind. They're not idiots. They're not stupid. And they are the next to come up into power. And they're going to vote these old craps out and change legislation in this country and change the movement and the direction of this country. So that's a fair warning, because they keep bringing up these things, but these kids, they don't care about, reproductive rights and things. They want to live free, authentic, healthy lives, and they're going to push for it.
And I got to meet and interview Maxwell Frost over the summer at the LGBTQ Democratic Caucus meeting here in Fort Lauderdale. He's not a member of the community, but my God, he is an amazing ally. And even more importantly, he is an amazing speaker. I mean, I've been covering politics, among other things, for 25 years. Rarely have I sat in a room where I'm just like, oh, I'm so over. No, I was focused on every word he said. And after I talked, I got him outside afterwards, and we were talking a little bit. And his enthusiasm just never stopped. Like, he didn't even take a breath to hang out with me. He was just like, boom, 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 going. And the way he communicates with people, he's from Central Florida, which is important, really, in Florida, because that comes from, if you're from that area, you get a lot more of Florida than you do living down here in our blue bubble. Yeah. And, if he is going to be, he's going places. He's going places beyond the Congress. He is going to be, he could be in the Senate in a few years. I'm just so excited to follow his career.
Yeah, we're lucky to have him for sure.
I even see these newer generations reaching across boundaries outside of the United States as like international ambassadors and spokespeople, because I think a lot of, especially Floridians, live in a bubble where they think this is it. This is the all in all. And also some of America thinks they live in such a bubble that they forget that there are other parts of the world. There are other people who support LGBTQ, Black, and all of these progressive ideas. There are other places in the world that exist other than this. And you are the minority in this.
For sure.
We're making progress.
Yeah.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Lara are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.